guys, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. Beautiful, beautiful morning out here at Lake X. Something a little bit different today. It's cold. Summer's gone, fall is here. You can feel it in the air. Never been here under these conditions. I have no clue what to expect. My thinking today is we've had some really cold nights. So what I'm expecting is those fish to be in that 4 to 10 foot range today. But we're gonna focus this morning on the top water, on the walking bait and the buzz bait. Let's get out there and I'll see you all in the water. All right, we're gonna start off with the walking bait. We're gonna be switching rods a lot today, just to find out what they're on. I wanna start off with the top water, but you just never know. I'm actually on the water a lot later than I normally would be. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time fishing this pocket in here. And then I'm gonna head over to the creek I found last time. The water temperature has dropped about 7 degrees, but that's just surface temperature. Below that, it's probably still a little bit warmer. Switch over to the buzzbait for a little while. Again, we are just gonna be rocking and rolling, switching lures, throwing it on the wall until we see what sticks. Oh, goodness gracious. So I just saw a bait ball on this main lake point off this creek channel. So I'm gonna see if I can take that pattern, that bait ball right at the mouth of the creek, and replicate it on different creeks that I'm about to go hit. Lots of bait flickering up shallow, guys. I think I want something a little bit more subtle. And I'm prepared for that. Gonna go with the Zoom Horny Toad. It's one of my all-time favorite top secret baits right here. Tend to lose a lot of fish on them, but it gets it done. Oh my gosh. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, oh my gosh, I'm stuck on this freaking wall. You can stay in your spot, buddy. No, same exact thing. Scaring all the fish away. You stay there, buddy. Don't you freaking do it. Oh my gosh. Stop, dude. Gosh, bro. Fruit this morning. Gosh, bro.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Gonna try Texas Rig Cinco, Woo Tungsten Never Chip, 3/8 ounce weight. I got her. Whew, man. This has been a rough morning, guys. I needed that one. I needed that one. It's been rough. Nice one. Beautiful fish. Probably about a 4-pounder, 4 1/4. All right. Get her a little bit of water and then we'll get a weight on her. Break in the new scale here. She's a long one, not super fat. Probably about 4 pounds, 4 1/4. .3. All right, guys, let's get a length on her. So normally I buy the 26-inch board. I accidentally bought the 32-inch board this time. But I guess if we catch like a 28-inch largemouth, we can measure. We have 20.5 inches. 20.5 inches. Just an absolute gorgeous fish. Absolute gorgeous morning. Let's get a release on her. See you, girl. Thank you. All right, so I just want to give a quick breakdown on what happened. So it's been a frustrating, and when I say frustrating, I mean super frustrating morning. I think I've hit every single stump in the lake this morning. My lure's been caught in every single tree. Obviously I'm exaggerating, but it's been rough. And the thing, guys, when it's rough, is you just have to put your head down and you have to keep fishing. Ended up getting that great fish. Another thing that's been going on is I've been power fishing all morning. The power fishing has not been panning out. I've been seeing bait shallow, so what I decided to do was put on the Texas Rig Senko. I had that 3/8 ounce Woo tungsten weight on there, and I'm going to work with that. Something a little bit different. It's not quite power fishing, but the fish are telling me right now that's what they want. Lastly, that fish was on a secondary point, so I'm going to continue to hit these secondary points and see what we can find. Stay tuned, guys. Seriously. Pen. Little guy. So he was sitting in about 7 feet of water. Probably suspended on that tree, but it's good to know. A little chilly back here in this pocket. Took my worm. I'm honestly surprised they're still in this pattern. Figured they would be on moving baits, but the stickworm here just seems to get it done. That was a horrible hook set, guys. I don't know how I got that fish. Oh. Finally, some on top water. It's been feeding up nice and healthy. Another one. They just love the Senko here. Absolutely adore it. Pretty guy. All right, the setup that I'm using, I believe I'm using a 3 or 4 Gamakatsu hook, a 3/8 Wu Tungsten never chip weight. I have a double bobber stopped, and then for the line I'm using 17-pound fluorocarbon. Now the trick is, I actually have a leader on, so I'm getting really good sensitivity with the braid, but a little bit less visibility to the fish with the fluorocarbon. The rod I have it on is X Pride. It's a 6'8" medium heavy. With that braid backing on there, it's more like a heavy. So I love the setup for Texas rigs, whether it's a worm or it's a creature bait. I 110% prefer tungsten over lead because it gives you more sensitivity. That Wu Tungsten is just my go-to. Don't know if that was a fish or not. Oh! Guys, I might have just broke off a giant. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. Not sure I didn't see it. So what I always tell myself is it was just a bluegill. It was just a bluegill. And that was completely my fault. You always have to check your line. And I've caught 3 or 4 fish today and haven't even checked it one time. So that was absolutely my fault. Felt like a good fish. Could have been a 3 or 4 pounder. Could have been an absolute giant though, guys. You do not want that to happen. That was a brain fart by me and I have to be more prepared. So it's not probable that fish bites again, but it is possible. So we're gonna toss it in the exact same spot. I have heard people breaking off and then literally catching the exact same fish. It's a long shot, but we're gonna toss it back in there. Oh, popped off. Stacked up in there, that's for sure. Turning my drag down here because I was afraid of breaking off. I'm not sure if that hurt me or not. That's where that Texas rig really excels. It's in stuff like this where it's just brush. A lot of times what will happen if there's a lot of fish in there is the fish will pick it up, move out to deeper water. And that's what we've seen a couple times. All right guys, so a little midday update. So we just finished out that creek. We hit a little section on the main lake and they are not there. What it seems like to me right now is the fish are on their migration to the back of the creek. The crappie are following the shad. The bass are following the shad and the crappie. We found a lot of fish in that last spot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna explore around a little bit more, see if we can replicate the pattern in different areas, but we're gonna end up back in the other creek here in a little bit because it's just too good over there. So stay tuned guys. Let's see if we can get a big one somewhere else before we end up back in that creek. Let's do it. The bottom of the mouth somehow. Pretty guy. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you all can see that. Look at all those fish. That is insane. Not sure if that's bluegill, crappie, bass. I think it's crappie. They're loaded up in here. I think what I want to do just to be thorough is I want to toss a drop shot in here. So a lot of fish in the area. Some of them have bitten the Texas rig, but but I just have a feeling I can pick off a few more with a drop shot. So we actually have a 6-inch straight tail robo worm in Aaron's Magic. I'm gonna put it on a cover shot hook, 8-pound test, which I'm pretty worried about if I hook anything decent. The way I'm gonna hook it is I'm barely gonna skin hook the side of it here, so I can set the hook pretty easily on something. Leader length is actually pretty long. I'd say it's about 2.5, 3 feet. Then I believe this is a 1/8 ounce tungsten drop shot weight. Again, you can see that just giant ball of shad there. And I think there's a school of crappie around here as well too. And that's what's attracting those fish up here. Oh yeah, you can see right below them. Right there is probably a school of crappie. There's just all kinds of fish in this area right here. Giant school. I see why this creek is so loaded. There's just so many fish. Oh. I think it's a school crappie. Oh, he took my worm, that butt. The great thing about this, honestly, is just practicing something different. I usually don't fish offshore with a drop shot very often. So just getting this practice in and being able to target these fish and just getting a bite makes me feel really great. So what you can do if you're at these bigger lakes, you can actually take a creek like this and just fish it all day. Fish it like it's a big pond or fish it like it's a small lake. It really eliminates a lot of water for you. And you know there's always going to be a population of bass that live in this creek. And we already know the middle of the creek was the most productive area. That's where we saw those crappie and those shad. So we're going to spend a lot more time in the middle of the creek than we are at the very back or up here at the mouth. Got one, guys. Oh gosh, my knot got stuck. Decent one. Oh gosh. All right, he refuses to be netted, so we'll grant him his wish. Oh, here we go. Nice little 2-pounder, 1 3/4 pounds. I just want to check on him real quick, just to see if my guesses are right. He's 1 3/4 pounds. 175, just like we thought. Pretty guy. And one thing I did do is I did switch over to this Vmc Ring Hook. I had just your standard EWG hook on there, but this ring hook is so much better in my opinion. I've seen Seth Feider use it, and I've heard him talk about it a lot. And a lot of times it just seems like advertisement when pros talk about stuff, but Seth is actually a really stand-up dude, and he seems to give a lot of great information out. And that Vmc Ring Hook is just an amazing hook. I definitely recommend it over your standard EWG hook if you're using it for a Texas rig. Now weightless, I'll just go the standard EWG, but if I'm putting a weight on it, that's when I'll use the ring hook. Felt like I had a bite. There we go. Small guy. And that's exactly what I thought was gonna happen. They've reloaded on this spot. Seems like they've moved down a little bit, so I'm not sure if they're just migrating to the back of the creek or different times of day puts them in different places, but pretty much exactly what I predicted. This just seems like one of those spots that refill with fish, and when you find those spots, it's just awesome. Oh man, came out and got it too. Wasn't a big one, but I wanted him. Oh no. Oh my gosh, bro. This is hook over doo-doo. All right, that is gonna wrap it up. Fun and frustrating day at the same time. Fun day, we were out there catching fish. We were doing what we love, blessed to be out in the water. Frustrating day, ended up hitting a lot of stuff with my pedal drive, throwing a lot of lures and trees, just a lot of stuff you guys probably won't see that I'll edit out, but trust me, it was a frustrating day as well as a fun day. What went right and what went wrong? So overall, what went right was I stuck to my guns with the Senko. Texas rig, 3/8 ounce Woo tungsten weight, and that VMC Ring Hook. That was crushing it today in that creek. You guys know that I like to say, don't switch it up if it's working. And that's exactly what I did. I stuck to my guns. I did end up throwing the top water a little bit, crankbait a little bit, but overall I was sticking to that Senko bite. Really surprised, I don't think I got one fish on the weightless Senko, but the Texas rig with the 3/8 ounce Woo tungsten weight and that VMC Ring Hook was crushing them there for a while. What went wrong? So normally I would say what went wrong is we left fish to find fish, but on this lake I'm still pretty new to it, so I'm still trying to find different areas along with the one that I already know. I could have just stayed and fished that creek the whole day. I probably would have been a little bit more productive, but I want to find some new areas to fish as well, just in case those fish are shut down or those fish end up moving. Also, what went wrong is I did not check my line after I caught that fish. Ended up breaking off what felt like a really good fish. We'll never know. I always like to say it was probably a bluegill. That's kind of my theory when it comes to breaking off something. Sometimes when you break off a lure in the fish's mouth, they'll actually jump up afterwards and you'll get to see them. That's a heartbreak if it's giant. That didn't happen, so like we said, we're gonna assume it's a bluegill at this point. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed the content, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Thank you guys and have a great day.